Well, a question gets followed up here regarding this whole debacle on the Chinese basically poking the bear, messing around with both our Navy and our Air Force. And Wonder Woman from Fox News, Jacqui Heinrich, questions John Kirby on the relation between the United States and the Chinese government, but also the fact that we have diplomats there in Tiananmen Square, and if there's any sort of connection between the two taking place. Let's go and hear it.
Thanks, Karine. John, you just said that these two incidents are part of a pattern of an increasing level of aggressiveness. Right. So then why was it appropriate to send two senior officials to visit China on the anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre?
A couple of things. First of all, it wasn't timed to the anniversary of the Tiananmen Square. Number two, it wasn't timed specifically to deal with these intercepts. You can imagine a trip to Beijing by U.S. officials takes some time to plan. So it wasn't timed to these events. That said, both these U.S. officials used the opportunity to raise our concern over these two intercepts that I just talked to Ed about. Absolutely raised the concerns that we had. Now, we had raised those concerns through our embassy as well, so this wasn't a new message that the Chinese were hearing. But I think you can also understand, Jackie, that particularly when times are tense, particularly when there's a risk of miscalculation, and particularly when the PLA is acting as aggressively as it is with no reason whatsoever, that's the time that you want to be able to have a conversation, whether that conversation is over the phone or face-to-face. Now, this visit was very much in keeping with our larger, longer efforts to keep the lines of communication with the PRC open, and we'll see where this goes after that.
Just have to pause it here because I'm a little bit confused with John Kirby's message in terms of what he said with CBS news reporter in our first segment, Ed O'Keefe, where he said, hey, I would love to hear from the Chinese government as to why they're pulling these maneuvers on our ships and our aircraft. But he just said that we have people there, and we've talked to the Chinese before about doing stuff like this. So if we've talked to them before, then what communication are they giving back to us in terms of why they're doing it? You just said, hey, we're asking them right now. I mean, there has to be some sort of communication. At least tell us, hey, they're blowing us off. They're giving us the bird. They're giving us the middle finger, whatever it may be. But there has to be some sort of information given to the American people in terms of, hey, what is the United States government doing about this? And then what is the Chinese government saying about them doing these types of things? So I don't understand why an answer is not being given here.
Criticism, though, of the administration for sending officials on that anniversary. Was that decision a messaging misstep?
We would not call it a misstep. I mean, this was a long planned trip, and this is the way the schedules worked out. But I think, honestly, people will be criticizing the timing of Tiananmen Square, just making a whole heck of a lot out of nothing. It wasn't time to do anything with the anniversary. And again, both these officials were nothing but candid and direct about our concerns, particularly over the intercepts. And of course, they brought up issues of human rights as well, as we always do. It's important to have these communication vehicles open. It's important to be able to have those kinds of conversations. And I think we're a whole lot less worried about the date on the calendar than we are about what's on the agenda when we start talking to them.
Hey, look, both can be true at the same time. I mean, Jacqui Heinrich's making a great point of, like, the optics of it don't look very good. And I do agree with John Kirby is that these things are planned out far in advance, but what you could have done is just canceled them going in the first place. Furthermore, if you're going to say they're having these types of conversations, but nothing's getting resolved, then what does that say about us? But then also, what does that say about the Chinese, that we're just going to continue to allow them to do this, and how much respect they have for us on the other end? I'd also like to point out, you just heard John Kirby say that we're having conversations about human rights issues. That's a fancy word of saying the concentration camps and the other things that are going on in China. But if you look in terms of these people that are pushing the woke agenda, like the NBA, a lot of these sports, people, heck, even go to the corporations, they're having manufacturing done in China. They're having all these things done in China, but they're the people that are shouting the loudest. They're the ones that are shouting, America's evil, America's racist, America's oppressive, all these other things, even though they're buying products. They're buying products that are being manufactured in China. I mean, it's astonishing, the grandstanding that's coming from some of these woke libs, that you have atrocities actually taking place around the world, and they're supporting those atrocities in some way, shape, or form by supporting the country in which is performing those atrocities. It's head spinning. I mean, the same people are driving electric vehicles that are touting, climate change, all these extremists, all these things, but yet there's literally children working in mines, and they're mining lithium and cobalt and other minerals and materials to produce these EVs. It's just insane. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Hopefully you do. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. What should be done with the Chinese shooting at, or not shooting at us, but performing these maneuvers? Should we shoot at them just over the bow, a couple warning shots? Let us know in the comment section below. Moving into our next story of the day. This is the one you've been waiting for, folks. Jacqui Heinrich, Wonder Woman of Fox News, is back again in the same press briefing, folks. Getting multiple questions in today, which is rare. We all know that one's rare. Questioning her on Nikki Haley's comments about Joe Biden running in 2024. And she basically asks her point blank, is the guy going to survive through another term? You would think that it's going to be a softball question. Wait till you hear her response, meaning Karine Jean-Pierre's response, folks. It's actually telling. Hit that like and subscribe, folks, if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Okay. Nikki Haley also last night refused to answer a question about whether she would sign a bill for a 6-week abortion ban if it came to her desk, saying that the administration has not yet outlined their position on whether they would sign bills allowing abortions at 37, 38, 39 weeks. Could you give us the sort of correct position of the administration in terms of what kind, if any, kinds of restrictions on abortion the administration supports?
So I didn't watch this town hall, so can't really speak to exactly what she said. What I can speak to, what the president has
Say
said,
the Hatch Act.
which is that he will continue to call on Congress to restore Roe v. Wade. And so if you know the particulars of Roe v. Wade, you see what the president stands. So I'll just leave it there for now.
And one other one.
Folks, this is not the only time that she's been given this question. One of our top videos is Peter Doocy questioning her on limits in terms of abortion and what the Biden administration thinks, and she wouldn't give an answer. So she's saying that they've been clear. Oh, they go with Roe v. Wade. Everybody's asked this for literally 2 years. Hey, like, what is Joe Biden's result on this? What's his policy? What does he believe in terms of the limitation to abortion? You can cite Roe v. Wade all you want, but there's some loosey-goosey stuff in there as it is. So just give us an answer. If it's so clear, if it's so simple, it's so transparent according to his administration, just give us a clear answer, of which she cannot, because we all know that Democrats, for the most part, the ones that are extremely far left, are for abortion literally up to the point of birth, where it's like right centimeters from the canal coming out. But, hey, that's for a whole nother conversation, a whole nother video. Here's the question, folks, we've been waiting for.
On Nikki Haley, she also said that a vote for President Biden is a vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. What do you say to anyone who is questioning whether the president would survive a full 4-year term?
So let me just say this. I'm not going to comment on the 2024. She is a candidate, so I want to be very careful here. And we do follow the Hatch Act, so we want to be really mindful here. Look, this is a president, if you look at his track record, and I'm saying this more broadly, if you look at what he's been able to do, he has been able to push forward and get done historic pieces of legislation. He has gotten more done than any other president. When you think about the infrastructure legislation, when you think about the last president, it was a joke. We were talking about Infrastructure Week. It was literally a joke. Now you hear this president talking about infrastructure decade. When you think about being for Medicare, being able to negotiate and lower cost for Americans, that matters. That matters to the American people. When you think about actually creating jobs, good paying jobs, which is part of this president's economic policy, that matters to the American people. The president literally just was able to get done a bipartisan agreement on the budget, which many people didn't think he would be able to get done. And this president was able to get done. So look, this is a president that's been attacked during 2020, where people said, oh, he's not gonna win. He's not able to get it done. There's no way he's gonna be the next president, and he made it happen. In 2022, the same thing. There's going to be a red wave. It's not going to happen. Democrats are in trouble, and look what happened. And because of what the president was able to go and do and make sure that there was a message out there that Americans can see on what he's been able to do and what Democrats were able to do, he really had one of the best midterm outcome for a new Democratic president in 60 years. In 60 years. And so, look, I'll leave you with a quote here. Here's something that I think that was said a couple days ago. It's a Huffington Post headline. After calling Joe Biden senile, Republicans complain he outsmarted them. I'll leave it there. Okay.
Oh, perfect. We'll put that on Joe Biden's tombstone when he passes away in 2024, because you got people voting Democrat, just like you said in the midterms. Folks, she didn't answer the question. That's the tell right there. Layup layup of a question. Hey, is the guy going to survive another 4 years, Karine, when he takes office, or if he takes office in 2024? And she doesn't answer it. How many times have we seen these layup questions? The answer was, no, it's as we heard from the New York Times, he's fit, he's sharp, and he has striking stamina. This guy's going to live another 4 years. I mean, it's going to be tough to answer because you're going to have to be lying through your teeth to get that answer out. But easy answer. I mean, you'd be lying, but an easy answer nonetheless. Question for all of you is, do you think Joe Biden's going to survive through 2024? I don't know, folks. God, I don't know. Look, if he doesn't keel over for some sort of dementia reason or cognitive ability, it's him tripping over a blade of grass, leaving Air Force One or Marine One, whatever the hell you want to call it. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.